All right, everyone. Welcome back to our third episode of On the Fly Sports. We're going to be getting into a few things today. We're actually going to get into all three phases of American sports, the greatest and best of all sports. We're getting into the World Series. We're going to get into a little NFL action, and then we're going to get into a little NBA action. The NBA season just started up. So let's get started. All right, so our first segment today is going to be in the NFL. We're going to do our biggest surprises of the season, our biggest disappointments. So I'll go first. My biggest surprise of the season is going to be the Indianapolis Colts. Obviously not for me. Obviously, in the first episode, I said that the Colts were going to make the playoffs. So even without Andrew Luck, I thought they were going to be one hell of a team. They've been kicking some ass lately. They beat Kansas City.
Technically, they even surprised you then because the Colts are technically the second best team in the AFC.
Yeah, that is true. They beat Kansas City and Houston.
Because you picked them wild card.
Yeah, I did pick them wild card.
And I think they would beat the Chiefs again, bruh.
Yeah, well, if they do that formula, run the ball, control the clock, and don't give it to Mahomes, they can be a lot of teams with that, and especially because they have one of the best offensive lines in the league.
Yeah.
Justin Houston looks healthy, and he has 5 sacks this year. And Brissett's playing, not an elite quarterback, but pretty damn good, just as well. He has 1,600 yards, 14 TDs, and only 3 picks this year. So he's kicking ass. That team's going to make playoffs. I'm 100% on that. I know that division's really close, but I'm confident in the Colts making the playoffs. Most likely winning the division after they beat the Texans. We'll see what happens in that game, the division game later in the season. All right, so we're going to hop over to the NFC for Jabari's most surprising team. Now, this team isn't surprising. Obviously, everyone knew they were going to be Super Bowl contenders at the beginning, right when the season started, but we had a little injury to Mr. Drew Brees. So, Jabari, give us your surprising team, the Saints. Why do they surprise you?
The Saints surprised me because when they lost Drew Brees against the Rams and Teddy Bridgewater came in, I really thought they were going to kind of fall apart a little bit. But
I thought they were going to take a laxative dump there. 0-5, I thought they were going for it. They had a hard schedule.
Yeah, they had a hard schedule against the Bears, the Cowboys, and the Seahawks. So I thought they were at least they won all those games. Teddy Bridgewater was 5-0, perfect, and then Drew Brees came back and picked it up. So, their record is what's surprising to me. Because even if they would have lost, I would have been like, oh, it's because Drew Brees didn't play.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the thing is now they're still contending for that number 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
And the Saints aren't going to the Super Bowl without the 1 seed. And that's how it's been in the past.
Guess what? They might get the 1 seed because they get to play the 49ers in the Saints Stadium in week 14, I think.
Wow, that'll be a hell of a game.
That's going to be a really good game.
Yeah, and 49ers will be fighting like hell because no one wants Saints to have home field advantage. That's like giving New England home field advantage, except for the refs. They don't have the refs going in the weather.
Yeah, so the Saints and their defense is
their run D is great.
Technically, their defense has had to really step up because with Bridgewater. But Bridgewater is going to find a new team next season if Drew Brees doesn't retire, and he's still a good quarterback.
Yeah, they only let the Cowboys score 10 points, and they only let the Jaguars score 6. So they had a few stout games. They've been helping me out a lot in fantasy. I've been flexing with them, so they've made me very happy. And I'm glad I picked them as a high seed in my predictions because they're kicking ass. So.
Imagine Bridgewater on the Bears.
Oh man, Trubisky's so shit. I was watching
terrible.
I was watching that Chargers Bears game.
So
it was who could choke the game worse. Obviously, I was hoping for Trubisky to do it, and that offense just didn't disappoint.
Yeah.
Taking a knee at the 30-yard line with 50 seconds left in the timeout, letting the kicker kick a 45-yard field goal. Oh, that's a hell of a plan, Coach. Hell of a plan. Thanks for giving us our 3rd win. Beautiful work.
So now we're gonna get into our surprising teams.
Or disappointing teams. Yeah.
Okay.
And we got a shit show for you.
Yeah, my disappointing team is the Falcons.
Yeah.
Holy fuck. How do I start with the Falcons? They were my pick to at least get a top 3 seed.
They were your Super Bowl pick.
Yeah, they're my Super Bowl team. Yeah. I had to switch.
Yeah, and your ass switched over to the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, the Cowboys, but the Cowboys, it's not a bad thing because I know run game and defense travel, so I don't want them to be playing in the Cowboys Stadium home games anyways.
Yeah.
Like, that's just asking for the Cowboys to choke. But the Falcons had one of the top 4 rosters in football. Like, if you look at their team, like, look at their receivers, their running backs.
Their secondary was stout.
The talent is there.
Yeah,
the Falcons are just being bad. And at this point, I think it's coaching, and Dan Quinn's probably on the hot seat.
Well, and the fact that Matt Ryan throws it to Julio on every third down. You basically could quadruple coverage Julio on third down, and Matt Ryan's still throwing it to him.
You can't blame it on the Falcons' offense.
Falcons'
offense is top 5 in the NFL. No, you can't blame it at all on the Falcons' offense.
You can definitely blame it on the Falcons' offense. They come out and take a fat dump in the first half.
First half,
they do not score points in the first half.
But they always bring the game back, and the defense doesn't help by stopping the team in the first half or the second half.
That's true, but then you gas
terrible
by being that bad in the first half. Your team's gassed by the second half, and then you're trying to come back, and you're asking your defense, which is gassed, to try and bring you back. It's kind of hard. And plus, I don't think their coaching's that great. They don't do great coverage on defense. I like their 3 deep safeties, but they don't really have a great pass rush, so they need to bring a few more guys up into the box because they don't stop the run well, and they do not pass rush.
Well, that's what happened when Kawhi O'Neal went out.
Yeah.
Because that's what you saw in week 1 to a team like the Eagles. They're kind of disappointing too, but we'll get into that another week. But
yeah, the Eagles are for another time, because I still think they can beat the Cowboys out. The Cowboys can out-choke the Eagles.
When Kawhi O'Neal left, that was bad for the Falcons' run defense, and that's why that stuff was happening on defense last year, because they didn't have Kawhi O'Neal or Deion Jones, but Kawhi O'Neal played a key role in the box. So just a lot of like Phil's disappointing team. The Falcons have a terrible run game due to their safety not being there, just like your disappointing team, Derwin James, not being there.
Oh, run defense, have you? Yeah, so we'll take that to get into my disappointing team, which is my bias ass. I'm using the Los Angeles Chargers. I said if we lost to Pittsburgh that the season was over, and that was before Mahomes dislocated his kneecap, so there's still a shot. We still have a shot, but before the season, I had total faith in this team competing for a Super Bowl ring. And now looking at the team, we have 12 players on injured reserve, and we've had even more players injured throughout the season, and even
not looking too good.
Yeah, even with a fully healthy team,
it's not looking too good.
Listen, our team, especially our offense, revolves around Phillip Rivers, and we have the worst offensive line as usual in the league. And you're not going to win us a championship if you have one of the worst offense or defensive lines in the league. You win a Super Bowl by controlling the trenches, and the Chargers haven't learned that yet. Hopefully next year, if you have an immobile QB, you can't have a shitty O-line. You got to upgrade it.
What I said to Phil, the Chargers are not done, because the Chiefs are going to drop games. The Raiders, okay, I know the Raiders aren't good.
We know the Raiders will drop games.
And the Chargers could beat the Raiders. And the Chargers could actually still beat the Chiefs when Derwin James comes back.
Yeah.
So, the Chiefs have, 3 losses right now?
Yeah, the Chiefs
make it 4. They already have a guaranteed loss against the Patriots in their stadium.
Yeah.
It's not hard to beat the Chiefs or the Chargers just because how terrible their run D is, and you just play keep away from the other team's quarterback.
Yeah, and the one thing that does give me faith in the Chargers is we still do have one of the best defensive fronts in the league with Bosa and Melvin Ingram's back. Jerry Tillery at the defensive tackle position and Justin Jones, they look really stout. I know Jabari's been ragging on our run defense the last few weeks, but they've all been injured in and out. We haven't even had our starting defensive tackles the last 3 weeks. So, again, if we can get everybody back, you got to play some solid. Our defense has been solid. We've only been giving up 20 points a game, and we've been stopping them at the right times, but our offense has not been able to get going.
Yeah.
And we just fired our offensive coordinator, and I think that was a great move because the best times I see the offense is when Phillip Rivers is in control and they're running the hurry up. And I think Ken Wisenhunt was controlling the offense a little too much, taking it out of Rivers' hand. And I think now maybe we'll see a little bit more hurry-up offense, Rivers controlling it, because now the quarterback coach is the offensive coordinator. So he likes to put the ball in Rivers' hand a little bit more. So, we still have a shot. Play Kansas City twice. But even if we make it, I don't think we're contending for a Super Bowl. But, the Chargers always seem to surprise me, whether it's for the good or the worse. So we'll see. But they are my most disappointing team at the moment. Can't lose to the Steelers without Big Ben and the Titans.
Or their backup.
Yeah.
They didn't have Big Ben or their backup.
They had their fourth string quarterback. He wasn't even there for training camp. They had that other guy who they trade to the...
Oh, Joshua Dobbs.
Josh Dobbs. That was it. See, it was a four-string quarterback they had up against us, and they still kicked our butt. But at the same time, the Chargers always find ways to beat themselves. So... if they can as usual, figure out how not to beat their own ass, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so the Chargers, 1 week at a time, the talent is there.
The
talent is definitely there. They got to take a win out. This is the difference between my disappointing team and Phil's disappointing team. My disappointing team is already done. Like,
they're out.
The Chargers actually could still make them at least get a playoff win or two.
Especially because everyone says the second best team in the AFC is Kansas City, and they're 5-3, and we play them twice. So yeah. You never know. Again with the Chargers, that's every year.
5-4, they play the Patriots.
5-4. So 5-4, and we play them twice. So we'll see what happens. Hey, Mahomes has to beat Brady every once in a while, right? At some point.
I don't know. Andrew Luck never got to.
Rivers is 0-9 against him. Never mind. Okay, so now we're going to get into our way too early NBA playoff predictions. We're going to do our number 1 seed for each conference, and then we're going to do a sleeper pick. We're really excited the NBA season's back, especially me as a Clippers fan. I'm super hyped. Kawhi's out there flexing his muscles and kicking ass. I'm not too happy about the load management, though. I hate turning on a game and Kawhi's out. It's a pain in the ass to watch, but it's been a good year so far. Jabbar, you want to start out with your first seeds?
Yeah, my first seed for the West is gonna be the Clippers, because I think the Clippers have easily the best roster because they added Kawhi and Paul George, and they already were a tough team last year, and they had the same players as last year. They put up a fight against the Warriors last year to get knocked out of the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think a key piece to our team was Patrick Beverley, and holding on to him, basically you keep the Clippers chemistry together because he runs that defense. Mm-hmm. We're a defensive minded team, and with him, Kawhi and Paul George, it's going to be overpowered.
So yeah, I think they'll just be really tough, and even with Kawhi missing games, they still the team from last year. So yeah, I think they'll get it done. Yeah,
that's my only problem with the Clippers is load management. That's why I'm not putting them as my number 1 seed, but they're still going to be top 3 seed and be kicking some ass. So I don't think the home field advantage of a game will matter too much.
Who's your number 1 seed, Phil?
So my number 1 seed is going to be the Lakers, and now the reason I say this is barring health. Let's hope everybody stays healthy. The Lakers have better players, better star players. I think LeBron's kicking ass right now. Anthony Davis as well. LeBron's had a triple-double his last 3 times. Now the only thing, and they have a good team around them, so they're going to win a bunch of games. And I think with the Clippers, like I was saying earlier, it's load management. Kawhi's going to sit out a few. Paul George is going to sit out a few. Maybe even Lou will get another guys. And, it's hard on team chemistry when you got your all-stars or your superstars sitting out for a game. So I think we'll take a few little losses here and there. And I think just the Lakers are going to have to play with most of their starters, I think, most of the season. And I think that they're going to have to keep LeBron, probably not going to rest him too much just because they don't really have anybody to take over a point behind him. So I think if everybody stays healthy, they should be able to get the first seed.
Keyword, if everyone stays healthy.
Yeah, that's the keyword for everybody, right? What about your Eastern Conference seed?
Yeah, my Eastern Conference seed is going to be the Celtics because the Celtics are back. Now that Kyrie's gone, it brings back the
Killer's gone?
The green fountain of youth. That's what I used to call him before Kyrie came and messed everything up.
They brought back the Lucky Charms commercial.
So the Celtics are back, and Gordon Hayward.
Oh, he went off. He had 40 points tonight.
Yeah, so he looks like he's back.
Tatum's looked a lot better.
Tatum could go back to being Tatum without Kyrie there.
Yeah, Kyrie takes up a lot of the ball time.
Yeah.
So. And they have Kemba there, and I've heard great things about Kemba, team leading wise, and he's a better defender, even though he's a little bit smaller than Kyrie. He tries really hard on defense, which Kyrie has not been known for, and Kemba's not an injury prone player as well. So this team's looking pretty stacked. They should be able to make a good run.
And they'll win most of their home games because TD Garden is a tough place to play in.
Yeah,
they have great home field advantage.
They do have great home field advantage. And my first seed is going to be the 76ers, and that's simply based on talent. I think.
But that makes no sense at all because the Celtics are a way more talented team than them and have better shooters than them and have more players that are capable of actually popping off than them.
Man, you don't know what the hell. 76.
Joel, their best player is has worse stamina than I don't even know what.
My guy has no stamina. He played one playoff series. He's
their
done.
Their second best player can't shoot.
True, but I
can't wait to see the Celtics play them.
Here's the thing with this team is they're huge. They're the biggest team in the NBA if you put all their starters in, and they have a great defensive lineup. So I think they're going to hold a lot of teams to around 100 points. So they're going to be competitive in every game. And like Jabari said, they don't have the greatest shooting, but I've seen a lot of the NBA sort of bring back the mid-range game a little bit this year. I've seen it a little bit more than the three-pointers, and I like to see that. I think the mid-range game is great, and I think that it shouldn't go away. So I think they'll get the number one seed just because the Celtics don't have as much total talent. Yeah, they have the big three of Tatum, Hayward, and Kemba, but at the same time, the 76ers possibly have 5 All-Stars in the Eastern Conference.
Sure.
They wouldn't be All-Stars in the West, but when you have 5 All-Stars, quote unquote, that's pretty hard to beat. So even with shooting, because we know Gordon Hayward isn't going to go off every night, kind of thing. So yeah, I think they get the first seed just with the total team talent around them. Now, what about your sleepers? Let's go to sleepers for the West.
Yeah, my sleeper for the West is going to be
not really a sleeper.
Huh?
The Spurs?
Yeah, the Spurs.
Yeah.
Nah, they're a sleeper, just because they have no superstars.
That's true.
So, but they kind of have one superstar, kind of.
DeRozan.
Yeah, DeRozan.
Quote unquote.
But
Mr. Choker.
They just have a bunch of young players, and the main reason why they're a sleeper for me is because their coach, Greg Popovich.
Yeah,
he puts up a good game plan every game, a good scheme, and when they got eliminated to the Nuggets in Game 7, it was still a tough game, and they clearly don't have as good as a team as the Nuggets. Everyone knows that, but
obviously,
because their coach. And hopefully LaMarcus Aldridge, he's never really been consistent. Hopefully he
has his games.
Yeah. Hopefully he finds consistency, and he's a great shooter and a good post move, but he's just not consistent. Yeah,
and he's aging a little bit. But they got DeJounte Murray coming back from that ACL, and he's looked really good his first couple games. So they still have him on a time management, but once he gets back to full strength, they'll be a fun team to watch, and they'll definitely make the playoffs. Probably an 8 seed, 7 seed. They could maybe get down to the 6 because, like Jabari said, Greg Popovich is a great coach. He's the Belichick of the NBA. With him, you always have a shot to win. So my sleeper team for the West is going to be the Phoenix Suns. Now, if the season was starting today, I would have picked the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Only because of Chris Paul.
Yeah, no, I got a chub for Chris Paul. Yeah. But if you think about it like this, Chris Paul, Danilo Gallinari, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Steven Adams, that's really good start.
True.
Not in the West, obviously. I don't know if.
Even in the West, I think it's pretty good.
It's a competitive
it's underrated.
team.
It's underrated big three.
Exactly, they're competitive, and they have Schroeder off the bench as a 6-man, and he's underrated as well. So I think I would have picked them, but the way the Phoenix Suns have been playing has shocked me actually. I think they're gonna come in at that 8th seed now. They beat the Kings by a good margin. They beat the Clippers. They beat the Warriors with Curry, and they beat the undefeated Sixers. And their only losses are close ones to the Jazz by 1 point and the Nuggets by 1 point. So they're going to be a really competitive team all year, and they don't even have their best center, DeAndre Ayton, their starting center.
Yeah,
he got suspended, doing a little too much steroids, but hope his Schmeat's okay.
Dude.
Yeah. What about your sleeper for the East, Jabari?
Yeah, my sleeper for the East is going to be the Nets. And I think the Nets, because the Nets upgraded with D'Angelo Russell is not a bad player. I really like D'Angelo Russell, but they upgraded by getting Kyrie.
Major upgrade.
So now that they have Kyrie, even though I said Kyrie hurt the Celtics, he just didn't fit the Celtics game. So
yeah, no, he's played a lot better in Brooklyn. And he didn't really get along with a lot of the players there in Boston either. So I think it's just a better fit for him. And, regarding team leadership, D'Angelo Russell was never really the greatest team leader. We've heard things about him. So, I mean, it's like, switch him out. Cool, we got Kyrie now.
Yeah,
better
they
player.
definitely have an upgrade of, like, an offensive player, I think. So now that Kyrie is in there and Joe Harris, one of the best shooters in the NBA, and they had the team there from last year. They were a grinded out team. They were actually really good.
And they got DeAndre Jordan too, so he's a stout center.
Jordan.
Yeah, so I agree. They're going to be competitive, especially in the East. Like we say, the Eastern Conference, literally anybody can make the playoffs. Yeah. So, it's not really a sleeper.
But with Kyrie, since he's so clutch, I think they could actually knock out some of those teams up the top when they get in.
Oh yeah, in the Eastern Conference, I feel so too. I was also going to put the Pacers in there.
Sixers.
Yeah.
I think they would possibly beat the Sixers.
They could beat the Sixers, I could say. But, actually, the Sixers got too much height for him. I don't think they'd be able to do it. Because what's Kyrie's best attribute? Scoring in the post.
Yeah.
And the Sixers are huge in the post. So, I don't know about that one. I also want to throw out the Pacers here. Oladipo isn't back yet, but when he gets back, that could be a really competitive team. I know they lost one of their best shooters,
Young.
And they lost Thaddeus Young. So we'll see about them. I don't want to pick them as my sleeper. My sleeper is going to be the Detroit Pistons, and the only reason I say that is because Blake Griffin's out right now, and Reggie Jackson, he got injured. So once they get back, that's a really good team. Reggie Jackson, Blake Griffin, Andre Drummond, and then you got Derrick Rose coming off the bench. That's a really competitive team, especially for the East. So I think they'll make the playoffs and be competitive. Well, if Blake Griffin can actually be healthy in the playoffs once in his life, but we'll see what happens with that.
Psych, it's a Detroit team, and every team in Detroit has no hope. If you're listening from Detroit, just give up and look forward to, I don't know, golf or something.
Yeah, you need to move.
Phil's just messing around. He's not. I hope he's not serious about the Pistons.
I'm serious about the Pistons.
Blake Griffin needs saran wrap first.
Yeah. No, I am serious about the Pistons. I mean, Blake Griffin's an injury-prone bitch, but when he's playing, he's one of the best players in the league. So we'll see what happens. And his three's gotten a lot better. So, like I say every year, team with Blake Griffin, they're gonna be really competitive. But let's see how he's feeling after the All-Star break with that bum hamstring he's got. All right, so last but not least, we wanted to get into a little baseball. We're from San Diego. We originate out of here, so we wanted to, yay, yo. Haven't made playoffs.
I said they weren't going to make playoffs the first year. I said that the second year is the year they need to make playoffs. I said first year they'll make it competitive. That was the team's goal.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they did.
Well, until Tatis went out. then they were like horse shit. They did a good job entertaining. Yeah, they're all right. They're a lot. Compared to the Padres of years past, it was a lot more entertaining to watch. I used to go to the game and fall asleep. Now they actually can get some hits, so it's cool to watch.
A lot more hits.
Yeah, I think. And just goes to show the Nationals were 19-31 or 34 before the All-Star break, and they just won the championship. So, and it looks like it came behind their pitching. So I think. We're going to do a little Padres shopping sheet right now.
All right, so the Padres need pitching, catching debatable and outfields.
Yeah.
So
now their catching is debatable because they have a decent catcher.
yeah.
But Austin Hedges isn't hitting very well, hasn't hit very well lately. So, I'd like to see somebody get a catcher in there that can hit, but he's a good catcher defensively. So, maybe stick with him for an extra season. I don't know.
Shout out Hedgie. Stay on the team for the next 5 years.
We could bring Grandal back. He played for the Padres. He's been playing pretty well.
Yeah, so Yasmani Grandal, he's available.
Yeah, and he played for the Pods. He was a pretty good catcher.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what about pitching, Jabari?
Pitchers, Strasburg and Tyson Ross.
Yeah, those guys are killers. Those are ballers, but they're going to be really expensive. Hopefully, Strasburg, we can sneak him from the Nationals because he's a San Diego native. So hopefully we can get him in here from the Nationals.
So, and Garrett Cole is available.
Oh, Garrett Cole's a baller as well, but he might be a little expensive. That's the thing with the pitchers. We have really good pitching prospects, but I think we're gonna need a higher paid veteran to come in and lead the team.
Yeah.
So I think we'll need to chunk over a little change.
Paddock some behind the scenes thing.
Exactly.
Paddock is definitely raw, like as the raw talent, but I feel like he doesn't have the experience. And if he has like a veteran behind him that could show him like side things, kind of, I feel like he would be a lot better.
Yeah.
Even though I think he was pretty good year one.
Well, Paddock was a beast, but he had a lot of stress on him, being thrown into that number one spot most of the time, or they'd throw Strom in there until he started shitting a brick. But yeah, Paddock, I'm excited to watch him this year. Hopefully he starts the whole year, or we get a free agent in here that can.
And I think they definitely have a closer. I think Kirby Yates is good enough. Kirby Yates.
Oh, Kirby Yates is a
really
baller.
Good.
Yeah, all-star. But
really
my
good.
only problem with him is he's a little old. But relieving pitchers, it doesn't seem to bother him as much.
Yeah.
Like Trevor Hoffman did it till he was like 40 almost. So. Yeah, I think we're going to be good relief-wise pitching, but we need to get a couple good starters in there to round it out. And our outfield, too, after we lost Franmil Reyes, our outfield looked really shaky. I'm actually hoping, I've been a huge fan of Yasiel Puig, so I'm hoping maybe we can sneak Yasiel Puig in there, man, because he's a baller and he's a competitor. So
yeah, but the outfield is also young and very talented. Manuel Margot.
Yeah.
That's my guy, too.
Yeah, he's a
Travis
beast.
Jankowski didn't really get to come back. I don't know what happened to him. He got hurt, and he just never came back. Travis Jankowski will probably play more this year.
Yeah.
Coming up here.
And the other thing, too, Will Myers, a lot of people have given up on my boy. I haven't given up on Will Myers yet. I don't think they start him enough. I don't think they give him enough consistency to hit well. He swings on a lot of strikes, but I think he give him another shot this year. He'll be good. I just think maybe we get a right outfielder, something like that. I'd love to see Puig in there. He's been one of my favorites, even on the Dodgers, and I freaking hate the Dodgers. So I love Yasiel Puig. I'd love to see that. And thanks again, everybody, for listening to our podcast this week. We really appreciate the support. We'll get another one out next week. Hopefully we'll be able to bring back What the Fuck Did Eric Say next week.
Howard.
Yeah, gibbity, giggity, git. So yeah, thanks again for watching. Take care and have a good week.